From where the West begins in Fort Worth, Texas, to around the globe, you are listening to Talk of the Night. And now, your host, Paranormal Phil. Thank you, and good evening, good morning, wherever you may be around the world, around the globe, or even in your own backyard. I am Paranormal Phil, and tonight we're going to get into Pearl Harbor and the hauntings that go on there. We are just 2 days away from the 79th anniversary of the tragic day, the day that will live in infamy, the bombing, the attack on Pearl Harbor. So I wanted to do this show since we are that close to the anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. And we're going to talk about the hauntings at the USS Arizona Memorial. We're going to talk about the hauntings at Ford Island. We're going to talk about Hickham Air Force Base, the Pacific Air Museum, all that. So we're going to get into that. So let me do this real quick while we are waiting for people to show up. I will be in the off and on in the chat, so pop in the chat. Let me know you're watching. But right now, I am going to let people know that I am live now over on the Talking of the Night Facebook page, and so people know, and on my personal page as well. So give it that second here. I hope that's, hold on, let me do something here. Okay, let me go over to my channel and get the, so give it that. Pause it. All right. Copy link. All right. Make sure I got the right link. All right. So, again, I am live right now. Posting that on my Talking the Night YouTube channel, and I am going to be posting on my personal Facebook page so people know that I'm live. Again, like I said, we're going to be talking about Pearl Harbor and the hauntings that go on there, since we are just 2 days away from that. Right, so let's start off the show with, and if you see this image in the background, this is from, and a link is, or the credit for this image is in the description down below, but this is from the U.S. Navy photo illustration by Mass Communication Specialist, 2nd Class Diana Quinlan, and I apologize if I butcher that name, but I want to give credit where credit is due. It's a haunted image of that day compared to what it is today. As you can see, the color area is today, the black and white is from that era. But we are going to start off by playing news footage from that day, that infamous day, on December 7th, 1941. So let me bring that over, and this is on YouTube. Again, all the links are in the description down below. So let's play this, and I'll be breaking in because I don't want to get a copyright strike, so I apologize for that.
Your commentator is Joe O'Brien.
that day, or not as it was happening, because nowadays we can get that signal out a lot quicker and be there as it's happening. Back then, it had to go through a whole process. Getting some water because it's going to be a long show. But nowadays we can get it sent real quick. Back then it was more of a process to get all that stuff over.
Here is the motion picture record released by the United States Navy of the havoc wrought by the Japs' sneak sky and sea raid on Pearl Harbor, America's mid-Pacific naval bastion. On December 7th, 1941, Japan, like its infamous Axis partners, struck first and declared war afterwards. Costly to our Navy was the loss of war vessels, airplanes, and equipment, but more costly to Japan was the effectiveness of its foul attack in immediately unifying America in its determination to fight and win the war thrust upon it, and to win the peace that will follow.
And unfortunately, we're not to that point anymore where we're united against tyranny and evil and stuff like that. I'm not trying to make this a political show. Say that for another time, but we're rallying around the wrong things is what I'm saying. And back then, when even September 11th, even though my thoughts on that are different what mainstream painted of it, we rallied around something to come together as a human race. But back then, it was the rallying cry, because when we were attacked, we banded together and helped one another.
The Japs copied their German masters in striking hard at airfields. Hickham Field, northwest of Honolulu, and the Ford Island Naval Plane Base were the first objectives of Japan's treachery. Scores of planes were bruised and battered by the Japs' aerial bombs. Many of these were demolished beyond repair. Direct hits were scored on hangars, and these were badly shattered. Equipment and airplane supplies.
And of course, they wanted to get the aircraft first because they knew the ships couldn't get out of the harbor quick enough. And if they struck a blow to where they trapped or bombed one ship at the entry port to the harbor, then they could pretty much keep that whole Pacific fleet in Hawaii at bay, to where they could have probably gone on to the main U.S. mainland. But things didn't happen that way. But like I said, they wanted to get rid of the aircraft first so that the aircraft could not take off and fight them in the air. And they knew the ships, if any subs got into the harbor, they knew that they were moored up to where they couldn't drop depth charges to stop the subs. So it was a sneaky surprise attack, and again, like I said, that tragic day, a lot of sailors, airmen, everything like that lost their lives. And of course, following that day, a lot of Japanese Americans pretty much lost their ability to freedom because of something somebody else did.
Were reduced to smoldering ruins. Here at the Naval Air Station is grim and positive evidence of Jap treachery. Here foul blows were struck, while Jap diplomats were talking peace in Washington. America lost 3 destroyers. Here are seen the United States destroyers Downs and Shore, as they rest on the bottom of Pearl Harbor with decks awash after Jap bombers make direct hits on their decks. First to feel the sting of Japanese steel are the USS Oklahoma and Utah, the latter a 33-year-old target ship. Accurate hits by the enemy bombers make short work of these two naval bulwarks. Now, with their keels practically out of water, they lie helpless wrecks and a sad reminder of cowardly strategy.
And of course, the harbor is not that deep over there because you can see by the images of, if you look at images of the USS Arizona Memorial, the top of the deck is pretty much close to the surface of the water. So it was deep enough for the ships, but it wasn't that deep. Now, of course, you wouldn't be able to get a full-size sub underwater there. But, I mean, you can get a full-size regular sub on the surface through there, but traveling underwater to where it wouldn't be detected, you wouldn't be able to do it. So the subs that the Japanese had were much smaller, 1 to 2 man crews.
To make possible a surprise attack within Pearl Harbor, the Japs built 2-man submarines to enable them to fire sneak blows within waters that are narrow and tortuous. Several of these surprise weapons were blown from the water by direct hits of our naval gunners. Others were beached and captured. While sky and sea fire was still raging, salvage crews inspected our naval craft to estimate what may be saved. Before the din of bursting bombs had been silenced, preparations were underway to salvage these 2 warships. At low tide, the huge propeller of the Oklahoma, stilled by the enemy, was high above water. It is believed that the small 2-man Jap submarines carrying dual torpedo tubes were responsible for these 2 losses to our Pacific fleet.
And of course, this was after the fact. This was not as the action was happening again. Like I said, I don't know if there was actually footage of it happening as it happened. There might be, but I'm not 100% certain on that. But again, what the news media, mainstream media, showed you is the after effects, like what you're seeing here.
Here is the actual...
And there's... and I was wrong. There is actual footage of the ships burning. Now, I don't know if what actual footage I'm talking about is as the planes were dropping bombs and torpedoes and stuff like that and attacking the ships. I don't know if that exists.
Bombing of the mighty USS Arizona by Jap planes. These...
And as you can see, the USS Arizona, the tower of the ship, well above water. Now, the deck is about right here. Now, what you're seeing is probably around here, I think, somewhere around here, just below the water line, if you look at the USS Arizona Memorial.
Pictures were made by a fearless cameraman who thought nothing of his personal safety to make possible this record for all posterity. A single lucky hit was responsible for the disaster that befell the Arizona when a Jap bomb falling directly through one of the battleship's funnels exploded in the engine room and set ablaze tons of fuel oil.
Now, they say the engine room and fuel oil, but I've also heard reports of it hitting armor depot inside the ship, where all the rounds for the big old battleship cannons were kept.
Dense black smoke billowed to the sky as the massive control tower began to keel over. The Arizona's courageous crew stuck to its guns until the very end. Here was displayed heroism that will live forever in the glorious annals and traditions of the American Navy.
And most of the lives lost on that day were from the USS Arizona. I think 1,100 and something people on that ship lost their life, but that was the biggest loss in Pearl Harbor.
The once mighty Arizona now rests on Pearl Harbor's muddy bottom, a pitiful relic of its former self, a grim monument to the treachery of Japan. The once mighty dreadnought's armor plate is twisted and torn, but the great battleship's control tower still stands, a defiant beacon that in days to come will cast its shadow upon Nippon's very shores. At Pearl Harbor, at Hickham Field, in the bomb-pocked streets of Honolulu, ever is written history. History with a tragic, treacherous pen. History that 130 million Americans will never forget. And in days to come, the Japs, too, will remember Pearl Harbor. Here is a tragic, unforgettable page in the annals of America. Here, the cunning deceit of the Japs will never be forgotten. Here, they hoped to score a knockout before the war began. The Arizona's gun crews, battered and broken, fired to the last. Their guns pointed skyward, from whence the enemy appeared. The Jap sneak blow cost hundreds of military and civilian lives. The treacherous attack cost our Pacific Fleet 2 battleships outright, another capsized, the loss of 3 destroyers and a mine layer.
And like I said, we lost a lot of lives that day, a lot of ships that day. But the Japanese would lose a lot more in the coming years. There. And next we're going to get into another thing from that era time, which is the FDR speech, the famous speech the day after Pearl Harbor. And that is the Day of Infamy speech.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941.
And of course, I'm not going to play the whole speech. This is just a clip, and this is from, let me mention first, this first one is from the Atlantic. First video I showed is from the Atlantic. The second one for FDR's Day of Infamy Pearl Harbor speech is from Edmund O'Keefe. But again, this is not the whole speech, just a segment of it, but probably one of the most recognizable and most famous parts of the speech.
A date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. No matter how long it may take us.
And of course, it's taken parts of it. It's not straight through 44 seconds. That first part, and then there's this part right here.
To overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
Again, that is the FDR speech. Now let's get into, now that we talked about Pearl Harbor, let's get into things that, because of that day, are all the lives lost. Let's talk about the hauntings that go on there. And then again, like I said, we're going to be talking about the USS Arizona Memorial. We're going to talk about the Ford Island. We're going to talk about Hickham Air Force Base. All that, and then I'm going to finish off the show with a couple of parts from Hawaiian Island Ghost Hunters. Now, I don't know if I ever talked to him, but a few years back, I was going to have Preston from Hawaiian Island Ghost Hunters on my show. I don't know if I ever did or not. I can't remember. I would have to go back and look in my archives if that was the case, but I'm not certain, 100% certain of that. So first we're going to talk about, look at the ghost of the USS Arizona. And like I said, the US Arizona is the one that lost the most lives of that tragic day. And I'm going to do something real quick just to make sure, because I don't see, I just wanted to make sure somebody knew I was live, because they probably forgot. Yeah, they all nearly forgot. But yeah, like I said, let's talk about, like I said, I played those videos. All the links that I'm talking about tonight are in the description. You can find that FDR speech. You can find the news footage from that day. But let's talk about Pearl Harbor, the ghost of the USS Arizona. And this is from SeeksGhostBlogspot.com. Again, the link is in the description. Now, the USS Arizona has been a tomb ever since the morning of December 7th, 1941. When the ship was bombed, it sunk in 1,107. I knew it was 1,100 something. I just couldn't remember the last two numbers of that. But 1,177 crew members perished with her, making it the most significant loss of life on any United States warship in American history. That even goes more than the USS Cole or any other ship. On the date in 1941, December 7, 1941, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, which brought the United States into the Second World War. Today, the USS Arizona rests in the shallow waters of Pearl Harbor off Oahu, Hawaii, as a tribute to all those who died. The USS Arizona, let me get my chat open here. USS Arizona was based along with several other battleships in Pearl Harbor's Battleship Row. Its shallow waters ideal for these massive ships. During the attack, several bombs hit their masts, one of these penetrating the forecastle, which detonated her forward ammunition magazine. See, now in the news, hey Nicole, in the news footage from that day that I played earlier, they talked about hitting the engine room and the fuel stuff. But this mentions the forward ammunition magazine, which which I tend to believe which is more likely, resulting massive explosion, yeah, if I can talk, wrecked Arizona's forward hull, collapsing the forward superstructure and causing her to sink. After the attack in the following months, much of her armament and topside structure was removed. So all you see is pretty much deck level when you go to the memorial. Two of her aft triple 14 gun turrets were transferred to the Army encampment as coast defense batteries for Oahu. Arizona's red hull remains where she sank. In 1950s, she began to be used as a site for memorial ceremonies, and in the early 1960s, an official memorial was built, which you see in this little image right here. Thanks, Nicole. It is run by the National Park Service. It is a permanent shrine for all those brave souls who lost their lives in Pearl Harbor and those who died fighting the Pacific War that began there. All warships that enter and leave Pearl Harbor pause and salute the USS Arizona. Countless visitors and this memorial, which stands on pillars astride Arizona's broken hull, pay their silent tribute to this tragedy. Okay, get knocks on walls. A few bits of this sunken hull, rusted, twisted metal can be seen near the shallow water line. Still attached to the deck is the ship's flagpole. Arizona's hull still leaking oil from her bunker all these decades later. It still leaks all that oil. It's just seeping out at a slow rate. Now, I'm going to show you an image. Let me find it here. And I don't know if it, yeah, there's the image. Right there. Let me see here. I want to see if it shows that image. If not, we'll show it. But from the oil that is leaking out of the ship, and let me see if, make sure y'all can see this image here. Probably not. Let me do this. I'm moving the wrong thing around. Where is it? There it is. All right. So as you can see here, this image right here, this image right here, it looks like a face in the water because of the oil, but it also is like a pareidolia as far as like that is probably part of the ship to make it look like the mouth. That's part of the ship where it makes it look like the eyebrows. Pretty sure the eyes are part of the ship, so it's just the way the oil was. But it could be like a haunting reminder of that tragic day. And I'm just trying to get things in place here. see. Did I get it in place? I think I did. Yeah, okay. So as you can see, right here, that image is probably one of the most famous images captured of the oil leaking out of the USS Arizona. So let's get back to this article here. Let's see. Some state this is a fitting tribute, for she appears to be still believe for all those who were lost on the day Franklin D. Roosevelt called a date that will live in infamy. For years, people who have visited this memorial and Park Service employees have witnessed some strange activity. Now, I don't know if there's been any strange activity below the water line, but I know on the memorial itself there have been sightings of ghostly apparitions. Many photographs have been taken around the memorial and have captured strange, foggy spots. Misty human figures seem to appear in the background of these photographs, which I would love to go there one day, and just because of that, because of the ship and the memorial, but also to see if I can capture something on film too. One specific ghost that appears is said to be an officer who was posted on the USS Arizona's deck the morning of December 7th, 1941. Distracted by something personal, he left the station briefly, which could have caused them not getting to their battle stations quickly enough. It was during this time the Japanese planes attacked. This officer was killed, of course. Some speculate he is seen because he is driven by the guilt to walk the deck and then look out near the flagpole. He is seen mostly at night, low tide, and in the dim light of dawn. Which, like I said, it's probably when it's low tide when part of the ship is above water. So that's the ghost of, as far as other than this haunting image of the ghostly face in the oil, which, like I said, it could be just the way the oil is in the ship, making it look like a face, quite possible. But as far as the hauntings go, I believe most of the spirits are gonna pretty much haunt this memorial platform, and possibly on shore as well. So let's get into Ford Island, and if you've never been to Ford Island, I don't got it up. I wish I did. Let me see here. This is the air base, Naval Air Base, Ford Island. As you can see in like this one here, well, you can't see it that well, but there's docks there and everything like that. You got the USS Arizona Memorial. You got other ships that are docked there. But this airstrip right here, and like I said, all the docks are right there, around the island. But that's where a lot of the haunting, I think, from a lot of the ships that sailors lost their lives from are. So that's why the Ford Island is in Oahu, Hawaii. Nicole. So Ford Island sits snugly in the center of Pearl Harbor. Many men died here during the bombing of Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. Would it be any wonder that this little island is reported to be haunted? Residents have made reports of disembodied voices and footsteps in empty rooms of their home. Some have reported finding objects in their homes unexplainably moved or stacked up. Other paranormal phenomena include lights and appliances that turn on in the middle of the night for no apparent reason, a glowing misty apparition that floats through the homes, and shadowy figures walking around the trees and buildings on the north side of the island. These figures look like people, but then disappear into thin air. Like I said, a lot of them are right there by Battleship Row, and where a lot of people died. Like I said, most of the hauntings on that island are probably from the USS Arizona, which, like I said, lost 1,177 sailors. Some who have visited the airstrip claim to have feelings of urgency as if some unseen emergency were going on around them. Others have added to the description by saying they heard the sounds of, men running past them in boots, but they didn't actually see them. Hey, Bill. No worries. So, I mean, the spirits of the sailors and the airmen that lost their life on that infamous day are still reenacting that day, even in their afterlife, because they were killed pretty much without too much warning. We thought it was a bombing escort or something like that was off the coast, and that's why our defenses at the entrance to the harbor were not on the lookout for that. They saw on radar that there was a big mass of planes, but they thought it was our own. Many have claimed to hear the sounds of men moaning in pain, and at one building in particular, reports have been made of locked doors opening and closing on their own, accompanied by unexplained drafts of cold air. Many apparitions have been spotted on the island. Most are dressed in uniform, and they seem to roam without destination and around the island. And thanks, Bill, and thanks Nicole for liking, telling people to like and share. I forgot to hit that myself. If you like this page and this content, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to get notified when I post new videos. Whoops. Or go live. Forgot to switch over. Shoot. This is not what I want. Where is it? Gotta move this over. Okay, there we go. Make sure everything's. It's not where I want it. Alright. Alright, there we go. Let's get out of studio mode here. Alright. So, this is from hauntsofamerica.blogspot.com. Again, want to make sure that I give credit where credit is due for each of these stuff. But like I said, a lot of Ford Island is, which you see right here, is in the middle of Pearl Harbor. And the airstrip, the ports for the ships, you can see the USS Arizona Memorial and everything like that. So let's go over to Hickham Air Force Base, which was pretty much hit first because, like I said, at the start of the show, they wanted to make sure that they hit the aircraft first and the air bases first, because they knew if they hit those first, then our fighter pilots could not get up there to shoot down and actually defend the harbor, to give the ships enough time to get out into open water where they can maneuver better and actually have everybody, because December 7th, 1941 was on a Sunday, which, oddly enough, let's see, today's the 5th. No, I was going to say it's on a Sunday. December 7th this year is on a Monday. But like I said, they hit the aircraft, the airfields first, because they did not want to have aircraft up there fighting them as they're trying to bomb our ships. So Hickham Air Force Base was one of the first places to get hit. And this is from Haunted Rooms America, or hauntedrooms.com. Now, Hickham Air Force Base, and I gotta move this just out of, let's see. Okay, I have to minimize the chat for a second. Hickham Air Force Base in Oahu is actually a historical landmark of the Second World War. Several soldiers died during the surprise attack of the Japanese that fateful day in December. This is the explanation why a lot of people who visit the base hearing bombing noises and sounds made by dying soldiers. Aside from hearing sounds, many people have also reported seeing the actual ghosts of World War II soldiers still wearing their fatigues and wandering around the halls. And the most recognizable ghost in the base is Charlie. He roams the halls and often switches the radio station. He is also known for throwing things about in the base. So, little history for that, the base and everything like that, so you can get an idea of the base. But like I said, they hit the airfields first, and a lot of people died there, and we just couldn't get to our aircrafts. But like I said, the most that lost their lives that day were on the USS Arizona. Hickham, and here's the history of Hickham Air Force Base. Hickham Air Force Base was completely and officially used on the 15th of September in 1938. The construction of the main barracks began in early 1939, and by the 1940s, it was the largest structure of American military installation. It had a post exchange, a laundry, a squadron day rooms, medical dispensary, barbershops, and a mess hall. It was called the Hickham Hotel by the men stationed there. And you pretty much could get anything. When the Japanese Navy attacked on the 7th of December, the base was bombed to eliminate its air opposition and prevent the planes from firing back at the Japanese aircraft during the During the war, the base served as a center for training as well as assembling aircraft. The base has been designated as a National Historic Landmark in 1985. And of course, I don't think it might still be active base. I'm not certain. Don't quote me on that. The base has had its share of accidents and incidences. In 1955, R60 and R61-1 was landing in the darkness, but there was heavy rain and it crashed into the Pelican Peak, and it killed more than 60 people on board. It is still the worst air disaster in the history of the islands of Hawaii. Again, this is from hauntedrooms.com. Now, like I said, I want to talk about a little bit about that, and I don't think I pulled it up, and I should have. Let me see if I can pull that up. Not YouTube, Google. And I didn't put this in the description, so anything that I pull up, I'll mention it and I'll put it in the description afterwards. But Pacific Air Museum, Honolulu, or Hawaii. Now there are only 2 hangars, which just shows the Hawaiian Ghost Hunters videos, which we're gonna actually get into in a moment. But this is not the site I'm looking for. There's hangar 79. And there's only 2 hangars still standing, and I believe I know Ghost Hunters has been there. The museum is still shows bullet holes in the windows from where it was shot at on that day. But this is Hangar 79. Gives you a little overview of the hangar. And I think, it's Hangar 79 and Hangar 37 are the only two hangars left there that act as an air museum. They both contain World War II aircraft and some more modern aircraft. And they still, I believe 79 is where they do a lot of restoration. You can see parts of aircraft like this. The Boeing B-52E Stratofortress cockpit, planes of those days. The T-6 Texan, P-51s. Again, some more modern aircraft. But a lot of aircraft from those days. But again, a lot of newer stuff as well. And then, like I said, mentions Hangar 37, what they have and everything. And of course, they have pieces from the hangars and the ships that were this is part of the USS Arizona, so it does have some artifacts from the ship and that fateful day. Like I said, 37 is more of the museum, whereas 79 is more of a restoration hangar, part of the museum. But again, you can see a lot of old aircraft, even biplanes from World War One. You can see all the outdoor exhibits. But again, like I said, I'm going to play a couple of videos from, if I can find the Hawaiian, not the Hawaiian, if I can find the Ghost Hunters one. And as you can see right here, Ghost Hunters visit Pearl Harbor. And you see this mannequin, and I don't know how many of you have all seen the Ghost Hunters episode of Hangar 79. That the lady is real, but this person in the Navy outfit, that is actually a dummy that is reportedly moves on its own. Sometimes it's holding the propeller, sometimes it's holding something else. It's moving at night, and then when the staff, and she's part of the staff, come in, he's actually moved in a different position. But if I can find that link, I'll leave that link of the Ghost Hunters investigating that. But like I said, I want to give credit to the local paranormal team. I want to give credit to the local paranormal team that lives there on the islands, and they're the ones that have investigated this. And this is in two parts. This is part one. We're not going to get into all of it, both of them, but we're going to play a little bit. And like I said, Preston of Hawaiian Island Ghost Hunters, I wanted to have on my show at one time, but I don't know if I can't remember if I did have him on my show or not. There's Preston Like I said, I've never met him in person. I've talked to him through email, but again, like I said, I don't know if I had him on my show or not. I would have to actually go back into the archives and look to see if I had him on my show. But I don't think I did. I think I wanted to, but I don't think I did. I might have. I just don't remember. And let's get to the actual stuff because we don't want to play the music here, get a copyright strike or anything like that. And they're at the Pacific Air Museum, which is on Ford Island. So this is the Naval Air Base hangars. Now, like I said, Hickham, I believe, got hit first. And this is from Hawaiian Island Ghost Hunters YouTube channel. If you go over there, make sure that you let them know Paranormal Phil from Talking the Night sent you. Make sure that you give them a like and subscribe. I haven't subscribed to them yet. I've been so busy. Tell you what, I'm going to actually subscribe now live on the air. And I'm going to hit the notification bell to get notified when they post new videos. But like I said, I love their work, how they handled the investigations, how they basically respect the hauntings and the people who died on that fateful day.
Okay, case number 12. Undisclosed location, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii.
I don't know why they said undisclosed location, because it's in the video, but it is the Pacific Air Museum. Now, of course, they probably are talking about where exactly they are on the island, Ford Island, but
in this area, it is claimed that 2 apparitions can be seen in the 13th row.
And what they're talking about is they don't mention it here, but this was in 2012. I forget when Ghost Hunters was there at the Pacific Air Museum, but there is actually, in the Pacific Air Museum, there is actually a theater there, and apparitions have been seen in the theater. Now, Ghost Hunters mentioned the theater, but they didn't in this video.
One short, one tall. So, I'm gonna start. Let's get in the base readings of the place.
And for those that are not into the paranormal field, who don't know what base readings are, it's basically going around checking the EMF, basically the levels of EMF throughout the building to get a base reading where spots are high, where spots are low, where it's unusual, where it's not unusual. So when you actually see something in a certain area, you know that, okay, that's got a unusual high reading, probably because of electrical boxes or something like that, that could possibly cause that spike in the EMF meters. But if you go to see apparitions in a low peak spot, then there might be something more to it, if you will.
Anyone's here with us right now?
Now, what you're see, let me actually scroll back just a little bit. What you're seeing right there is a mannequin. So that is not a person, that is actually a mannequin. And this is Wayne and Jean Museum, basically the Pacific Air Museum.
Anyone's here with us right now?
But I believe that mannequin has also been known to move as well. And what this says, that there's different claims on the islands of the apparitions. Apparitions seen in different areas. Kramer, a mannequin that stands in front of one of the B-52B Mitchell is claimed to move on its own, is that mannequin that I just talked about.
First off, let me introduce myself. My name is Wayne. That's my friend Jean. And we mean you no disrespect.
And Hawaiians put ghost and spirituality high on the list. I mean, you basically don't disrespect the god of volcanoes, Pele. It's not a good thing to do over there. But they hold the spirits in high respect.
We're here to document your presence and to see why you're here. If you want to answer any questions, if you want to speak to us, I mean, we have a little box here with a red light on top. It cannot harm you.
Okay, so it says, we usually explain what equipment we are using, why we're using them, and what they will do with the thought that they may be speaking to someone who has never seen such equipment and devices before. And what he's holding is probably a K2 meter.
What is it able to do to pick up your voice? If you want to tell us something.
Or no, he's holding a digital recorder. I'm sorry, my bad. I'm pretty sure they have K2 meters as well, but what he's holding is a digital recorder.
Please feel free. And also by me, I have a what looks like a black box with lights. The lights cannot harm you.
Yeah, now there's the black box with the light. That is most likely the K2 meter.
And what you can do is, if you pass your hand around it, it will light up.
Nothing going on so far.
And again, that's Preston right there from Hawaiian Island Ghost Hunters. They're on Facebook as well. So again, like I said, this is from their YouTube channel. If you go over there, make sure that you let them know that I sent you. And everything like that.
And doesn't seem like short or tall wants to play with us today. Who wants to come out and talk with us?
Again, this is the theater inside the Pacific Air Museum. Like I said, Ghost Hunters have been there. I'm pretty sure Ghost Adventures have been there. I can't say for certain on Ghost Adventures, but I know Ghost Hunters have. But this team is there on the island, so they got more access to it.
Now, heading down the hallway into, I believe, the main office.
Alright, now this is, let me let that come through. This is in the office. Office lights turn on and off on their own. Motion alarms is frequently triggered and no one is in the building to set it off. I think the ghost hunters also mentioned about a office where they photograph archives from that day and everything like that. And the cameras have been known to turn on and off on their own.
The alarm has gone off in the main office. I believe on the other side of this wall, the EMF readings are going to go off the hook because on the other side of this wall actually is a big, I believe, electrical source. So
yeah, like I said, the electrical source is going to always throw off EMF meters. Basically a fear cage thing where if you got that high EMF reading from electrical boxes, it can make you actually hallucinate and see things that are not there. So that's why it's always important to do a base reading of the places that you're investigating, so you know, like, say I was to go with my phone and check an area and everything like that, and I get a high EMF reading, just using my phone as like an EMF meter. But, okay, it's like, I get a high reading, okay, well, there's electrical equipment here, or there's a electrical box or something like that here. You can tell by putting it closer to the equipment that it's going to spike. So that's why it's always important to do a base reading first.
So, just to prove it, there we go. 7, 8, 9.
Okay, again, staff members mentioned feeling sensations of paranoia, heaviness, and even skin irritations in the area that is mentioned. Again, like I said, that high EMF put off by electrical equipment or electrical boxes can give that feeling of paranoia, the heaviness. I don't know about the skin irritation, but definitely the paranoia, the feeling the sensation of being watched. That electrical stuff can give that feeling. And the reason why I know this is because I've been in the field a very long time. I would not use a K2 meter for base readings. I would use a EMF meter. I don't think I have it on my phone anymore. Let's see. Actually, I don't. But let me see. Because the K2 meter is not going to measure, it's not going to measure how much electromagnetic field is being put out. I don't got time to look through all the previous apps that I had, but yeah. Like I said, a K2 mirror you're not going to use for a base reading. You want an EMF meter that's going to let you know the electromagnetic field. Okay, so claims during pre-investigation it was found that the room contained all the breaker boxes and control panels for all the electrical, telephones, and computer systems. Pipes and wires surrounded the room, creating a cage, or basically a fear cage. Now, I want to skip to a little more into the video. And like I said, the description in the description down below, there is a link to this video and the next one. I don't know. Let's see. Actually, let's go back here. Make sure. I think they were playing that sound to kind of get a response from the spirits.
Mental, just a note, those are whispering in my ear. On my right ear. I couldn't make out what it said, but it was clear. I could actually feel the breath.
It says all team members present to avoid audio and video contamination, because you don't want people and this, yeah, it is a sound experiment, but like I said, trying to not disrespect the spirits, but kind of get an interaction with them by making the sounds of gunfire and everything like that they would have heard on that day, December 7th, 1941, which, like I said, in 2 days is the 79th anniversary. See, that's the mannequin right there that is in that white Navy cap, holding a propeller. Like I said, he has been known to move on his own. And that is an interesting question, Bill. Now, the compass can go haywire from the geomagnetic field. So, I don't know how much of a effect it'll have on electrical boxes, but for as natural geomagnetic field, yes, it will go crazy, but it's not your best bet on giving you a base reading when you're doing an investigation. But again, there's the mannequin that, like I said, is known to move on his own. Okay, see, the sound of someone yelling was not part of the sound effect and was not heard by anyone at the time of the experiment. I'm going to actually play that back so you can hear that sound. that was not the crew. That was not Hawaiian Island Ghost Hunters. That was a audio a disembodied voice that you could hear with your own ears. And if you could not hear it, like I said, click on the link in the description down below. You can watch the whole video for yourself. And of course, they did the replay. It's like a, hey, almost like get to the planes or get to the ships. We're under attack, basically. Like I said, they're reliving that day. That sucks, Nicole. Actually, let me check something here real quick. Stream health, make sure I'm good. And again, like I said, if you're watching, feel free to pop in the chat. Let me know that you're watching and everything like that. Don't be afraid. I actually interact with the chat room. But again,
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah.
$3,000 how many?
3,612. And I get 105 left to go.
I guess they took a ton of pictures.
You better check
There.
one of those pictures.
Yeah, some days at night done during our rounds and let everybody do their thing. We'll monitor for a little while. But so far we don't caught anything. Wendy them got some interactions in the theater, possibly something we can review. So just gonna kick back and watch the monitors for now.
Okay, that was part one. Let's play a little bit of part two of their Pearl Harbor investigation. And like I said, I don't know why it subscribed me to the first one, but it doesn't show me subscribed here. I don't know why. It's the same. So I don't know why it says I'm not subscribed, but I am. So again, like I said, we'll watch little bits of part two. We're not gonna play the whole thing, and let me get past the music and everything like that. And this is more of the highlights than anything. Okay, so this clip points out a common false anomaly. You will see a ball light moving in the middle of the screen, which many claim to be a spirit orb showing intelligent movement. We're not talking about that ball, that's a flashlight. See that little light next to it could be a reflection, because if I was to take my camera, my phone outside and shine it up at the light, that is actually reflecting off the lens to where I'm actually seeing a ball of light. It's nothing paranormal, it's just an anomaly that artifact basically. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't capture a spirit orb, but I don't put much faith in orbs because they can be many different things like dust, bugs, moisture, stuff like that. Let's see what we got here. I heard if use EVP recorder you have not talked into a while, asking questions because frequency and levels up too fast they want. That's why it is better ask then hit the record button for EVP recording. Not necessarily. I mean, there's been many times that I've left a digital recorder recording, even close by, and because I mean, there's been times that I've also left it going for quite a while. But technically, when you do a EVP session, you want to try and stick to maybe 5 minutes, maybe at the most, of recording because it's easier to go over 5 minutes of reviewing that time rather than going over hours or an hour or more of constant recording. But you don't need to ask the question, then hit record because you might miss something while you're asking the question. Okay, so equipment issue theater, there were 3 instances where we had equipment issues, and all were in the theater area. Now, part 2, like I said, is more of the highlights. Now, battery drain, some people say that's not the spirit interacting, drawing energy, but spirits can also draw energy from humans as well. I mean, think about it. If you're ever in a haunted location and you start feeling drained, it's probably because the spirit is actually using your energy to help them manifest. But they're not going to necessarily drain batteries that much unless that's the only electrical source around. And I've never had my battery, well, I can't say that, never. But very few times have my batteries drained. I've actually been drained of my energy more than batteries in my equipment have been drained.
Oh, battery is gone. Battery is gone.
How is that possible?
And make note that this battery that is in here had 150 minutes of life, and it is now at 0 and flashing, ready to go out. So I'm going to change the battery right now.
Alright, so he mentioned about battery getting drained, switched off. When Gene went to move his camcorder to a different spot, he noticed that the switch had been moved to the off position. Now, that's that leads a little more credence than battery draining and shutting off a camera that automatically goes off. But if it's got like an on-off switch, like a light switch, and it's switched from on to switch to off, then yeah, I mean, but at the same time, you also have to make sure nobody else touched that camera and might have accidentally switched it off.
In case you weren't out there with us earlier, the reason why you probably did die was Japan sneak attacked and bombed us. If that was you to turn the camcorder switch off, nice trick. Can you do it again?
And again, battery drain, like I said, doesn't mean that it's paranormal activity. I mean, you have to look at a terrestrial explanation first. Not saying that it didn't happen because of paranormal activity, but there is probably also a more terrestrial explanation than not. No, I've never used the EMF pump before. Like I said, a lot of what I use are used to use in the equipment in investigating when I used to do them is my own body. My body was able to tell, but then again, I'm a psychic, but I used my mind to actually communicate with the spirits. I could tell the difference in the energy by how I felt. So my body was my equipment, not any other equipment. Now, I've used EMF meters before. I've used digital recorders. I've used other people's K2 meters before, but even though I think I've only used it once or twice. But for the most part, a digital recorder and me is what I use. And very seldom do I use a digital recorder. So again, like I said, battery drain, it could be anything. Let's see, they had a total of 12 EVP captures, but have chosen to present only 3 that we feel are less likely to be questioned. And with any EVP, you have to question, was somebody around? Did somebody say it by accident and you didn't notice that at first? It's quite possible that somebody could have done that. But let's listen to these EVPs. All EVP files enhancements are kept to a minimum to preserve the original state. The only enhancement we use are 6 plus 6 decimal amplification and light hiss reduction. If anything further is needed, it's not worth presenting the file. And yeah, you don't want to add too much amplification on EVPs because it just messes with the file. Okay, now this is a standalone recorder. For anybody that don't know what a standalone recorder is, basically it's the recorder by itself. No other equipment nearby, nobody buy it to really, as far basically no other equipment used. It was just the recorder alone. Captured in the theater after our female investigators conducted their investigation and left. Like I said, it's usually basically left alone in a room by itself. Played normally, we can't make anything out of it. What is being said? Now, see, I don't know. Could y'all hear anything? Because for most of what I heard there was mostly kind of a static sound. I might have heard a little bit whisper, but I couldn't make out what it said. It definitely was not a Class A EVP. Now, there's Class A's and there's Class X. Class X EVPs are EVPs that can be clearly understood in reverse only, or have something being said in normal play and something different in reverse play. Which almost sounds like a demon creature. Remember when they talk about reversing records backwards and the sound of the devil? Yeah. Now, that first word, like I said, it sounded like static. This is in reverse. Now, I still can't hear what it says, but I don't have a headset on because my headset does not work. I gotta get me a new headset. And I forgot to mention, and I want to pull it up real quick while I'm thinking of it. Why is it not coming up? Oh, wait. That's because I don't have that open. Make sure that there's a link down below where you can support the show, help me produce more great content like tonight and everything like that, and get more equipment and stuff like that, and help me make a living, because right now I'm struggling. If I'm not getting more people to the show and everything like that, I might actually quit the show for a while again, which I don't want to do, but might have to quit after the my annual prediction show, which is on December 30th and January 2nd. But like I said, check out the link in the description to donate. Help me put out more great content such as this. And again, as always, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. So let's get back to this here. And again, like I said, I heard words this time, but it wasn't that clear. Okay, Okay, see now when they add the words, now I can kind of hear what sounds like it does say I like women, but I can't make out, like they said they can't make out the first part of it, but it does sound like I like women. Another Class X EVP.
Yeah, I'll be walking around again. You're free to come to the 13th row again. I really like to see you try and light this thing up. Or make this thing make some noise.
Now, if you missed it, it was right in here in that file that whisper was there. Or that's where I heard it.
Yeah, I'll be walking around again. You're free to come to the 13th row again. I really like to see you try and light this thing up. Or make this thing make some noise.
But again, you can't. It doesn't. I don't think that file was actually isolated, or at least not in this clip of this video. That section was not isolated and amplified, but I could not make out anything on that. So, like I said, and like it says here, EVP isolated, because they didn't isolate it at first, but now they're going to show you the isolated portion of that, as well as playing it normally and then in reverse. Again, sounds like a lot of static normally, but let's hear what it sounds like in reverse. And they say Huxley, but they even question that, because I can't make out what it says. Maybe y'all could make out what it says, but wow, need something to drink. But I can't make out what it says either. And this is captured in the museum by the B-52 bomber and that mannequin, which is named Kramer. I think it's a mannequin named Kramer.
Okay, we are now at the bomber. Next to Kramer. Is anybody here with us? Could you please make a noise? Make a sound.
Okay, now, before I get into the rest of it, after they isolated it, I really didn't hear anything there, but I'm borderline deaf, so it's a little difficult for me to hear. But I can still hear. But it's just hard to hear anything. Now, I did hear like something drop on the floor at the end. That part I did hear. there, I don't know what your thoughts are. Let me know in the comments down below. And stupid notification. But let me know what you think. If you're watching live, let me know in the chat room what you might have heard. Other than that little click sound of like something falling on the ground. Like if you have a broom handle fall on tile or hardwood floor or concrete, you hear that bang. And I kind of faintly hear like words, but I can't really make out too much. So let me know what you think. Like I said, if you're live, let me know in the live chat. If you're not watching this live, let me know in the comments down below what you think. Now, he is standing by that mannequin named Kramer. So, is Kramer saying, I'm getting tired of goofing around, I'm tired of moving for your enjoyment? Or is he getting tired of, is the spirit getting tired of messing around? He wants to rest in peace. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Alright, so that's all I'm going to play of Hawaiian Island Ghost Hunters video. Again, all the links are in the description down below. So, again, let me know what you think. And go over to Hawaiian Island Ghost Hunters on Facebook. Give them a like. Also, check out the YouTube. The link is in the description. Subscribe to their channel. If you go over there, leave a comment in their chat. Let them know that Paranormal Phil from Talking in the Night sent you. Again, I've talked with Preston before, but I cannot for the life of me remember if I had him on my show or not, because I think I was going to have him on my show to talk about this very subject and the investigation that he did from those videos. So, like I said, make sure you subscribe to his channel and make sure that you let them know that I sent you. Alright, so what do we have coming up? And then I want to pull this up real quick. Okay, sorry about this. Let me pull this up here real quick. I got a lot here to delete in this field. Alright, so what do I got coming up? I want to pull up the actual website for my show. So let me go back to web capture here. And what do I got coming up for the remainder of December? Next Saturday, if I do a show, I haven't decided if I'm going to quit doing the show for now because of financial problems. That's why I hope that you donate to the show, help me survive, keep me going, because I can't do this for free forever. I want to do this for a job, but I need your help. I need more views, more likes, so that way that I can, and more subscribers, so that way I can get advertisement money, so I don't have to rely on you. But right now, Talking the Night is viewer listener supported. So anything you can donate, whether it be $1 or something like that, or even just letting people know to tune in, subscribe to the channel, like the channel, help me beat the YouTube algorithms, that would be great. Because once I get to a certain amount of subscribers, then I can earn advertisement revenue. But what we got coming up, and this is talkingthenight.com, December 12th, next Saturday, if I'm live, we're going to be talking about Bermuda Triangle Mysteries. Then on the 19th, how different cultures and religions celebrate the Christmas time. December 26th, there is no show. That is my birthday. December 26th is my birthday, unfortunately, the day after Christmas. So I will not be here. I will be actually out, hopefully enjoying myself at a concert. So no show the 26th. And then, as I mentioned earlier, even if I don't do next Saturday and the 19th, I will still do my annual prediction show on December 30th and January 2nd of 2021. First, if you've never heard my annual prediction shows, the first show is going to be going over last year's I can't think. Last year's predictions for 2020 and what came true, what didn't come true, stuff like that. And then the second part 2 on January 2nd, we're going to go over, and we might get into, on December 30th, we'll probably get into some predictions for 2021. I've already gotten messages from my spirit guides of what I see coming up for 2021. So we're going to talk about those probably at the end of that show. And then January 2nd, it's going to be predictions all for not January, but just January, but all of 2021 predictions for 2021 on January 2nd. And hopefully, maybe, if I'm lucky, maybe have some guests on the show, some psychic friends of mine, to give us their predictions of 2021. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in, watching my show and everything like that. Especially Nicole and Bill in the chat room here. Like I said, anything you heard tonight, after I'm off live, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the show. Let me know what you think you might have heard or saw on the videos that I played. And give me your thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts. So we got 10 minutes. And like I said, go over to talkingthenight.com. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Discord. All the links you can find in the description down below. So thank you again for tuning in. Let me take it off of that background. I want to bring up this background. And again, like I said, where is it? Down below is a link to donate to the show. Again, the show is listener, viewer supported right now. So it would greatly help me in this time of giving if you could give something to help me and the show out. So thank you again. Until next time, when, like I said, if I record next week, it'll be about the Bermuda Triangle Mysteries. I shall see you on the dark side. Good night from Talking the Night. late at night. Darkness has fallen. Turn on the radio, and you hear him talking. Listening to what he has to say, all about paradise.